एनडीपी आगू जगमीत सिंह वालों वैनकूवर च असैंबली ऑफ फर्स्ट नेशन की 43वीं सालाना जनरल असैंबली च डेलीगेटां नूं संबोधित किया गया। उन्हां वालों असैंबली ऑफ फर्स्ट नेशन के अंतिम दिन ते टिप्पणियां भी कीतियां गईयां ते नाल ही उन्हां नाल स्वदेशी सेवावां मंत्री पैटी हसदू भी शामिल होए, जिन्हां वालों इस मौके ते टिप्पणियां कीतियां गईयां।
So I want to start off by acknowledging some of the work of my team. Often the leader gets a lot of recognition, but I'm only here because of an incredible team that I work with, staff, but also incredible MPs. And so I just want to acknowledge our critic for Indigenous Services is Laurie Idlout, who is the MP for Nunavut. She's an Inuit woman, a lawyer, and a very powerful voice who has really made a big contribution to our movement. I want to acknowledge Blake Desjardins, Métis with Cree heritage as well, who is the first two-speared MP in Parliament. And as a young man with incredible experience and wisdom, he has been a very significant force in our party. Charlie Angus, as some of you know, has been really tireless in working for justice for Indigenous children, and was one of the really vocal fighters in challenging this government that was taking Indigenous kids to court. And I want to take a moment to reflect on all the Indigenous activists and AFN's leadership, Cindy Blackstock, and so many others who were able to stop this government from fighting kids in court and to finally reach an agreement. So that was really, really important. I'll be talking a bit about our agreement later on, but I want you to know that we made it a condition that we would not even enter into discussions on an agreement until this legal battle against Indigenous kids was dropped. It was one of our prerequisites. So we are honored to be a part, just one small part, of all the people that fought to get this agreement. And now we have to make sure that the government actually follows through with the agreement, which is often a very important part of any sort of resolution. We've got to make sure the follow-through is there. I want to just also acknowledge Charlie, Mumulak, and Nikki's work, all members of our team, on getting raising awareness about the idea of a special prosecutor on so-called residential schools, which National Chief has referred to as institutions of genocide. But these are crimes that were committed. And for crimes that were committed, there needs to be justice, and that means those that committed those crimes need to be prosecuted, brought to account, and something we absolutely believe. And I want to just wrap up with our team, with Leah Gazan. She's been a very powerful voice on raising awareness around the lack of action on the missing, murdered Indigenous women and girls in Two-Spirit, and how those really vital calls for justice need to be implemented. Greetings. It's an honor to be here. I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional territories that we're gathered on, the unceded traditional territories of the Squamish, the Musqueam, and the Tsleil-Waututh nations. And as always, whenever we acknowledge the traditional territories, as a settler, for me, it's particularly important to remember the injustice that the first people of this land have suffered and continue to suffer, and our responsibility as settlers to work towards justice for the first people of this land. I want to just acknowledge the elders, the youth, the chiefs, the counselors, all the leaders, all the staff, all the members and all the community members that make this event possible, and thank you for the honor of being here.